Welcome everyone to the Bharat Connect next discussion point, which is like one of the main pain areas, I would say, for many of us in the contact center or even in the different industries, healthcare, fintech or everywhere. So attrition, right? So attrition is considered the number one challenge in a call center environment, especially. So how do you address them? This is our topic for today's discussion. And we have three great panelists here, to explain and share their stories and experience, what they do to handle it, and how they are managing it and everything. So before I jump in and introduce our panelists, let me introduce the topic itself, why we think it is very important to discuss this topic at this point of time. So we are almost close to the end of a pandemic, and we are starting to get back to the normal life. And many countries have relaxed their travel restrictions, so everything is going back, at least seems going back in the normal, getting back to the normal. And this would be a good time to just look back and see what are the impact, right? One of the biggest impact for the pandemic is we all have to work from home, and so all of a sudden a lot of dynamics have changed. And this has created advantages and also disadvantages, right? The disadvantages, one of them could be more attrition, right? Because now people have more choices, working from remote. You don't have to work. You living in Bangalore, for example, you don't have to look for a job only in Bangalore. Now you can look for a job in Pune, you can look for a job in Kolkata, anywhere, right? Just it opens up everything. So that makes it a little bit more interesting and also challenging for employers. So we based on this topic, some of the survey statistics, one of the survey, it says attrition is about 30 to 45%, which is a huge for the call centers. And and the agents are happens to be in the bottom of the pyramid, unfortunately, meaning not that much, not considered that of a important as in the whole organization structure. But they play a very crucial role, that is being the face of the company, right? When someone has a problem, they call, and then the first person they talk to is an agent. And so being in the lower pyramid, and taking up a the job, the difficult job of facing a customer, especially facing a customer who is not happy, right? Because they are the one who are calling, not the happy customers are calling and then saying thank you for your service. That's that happens, but it's not too many. So I don't have this, my this is not working, so lots of problems, right? So the survey, what it finds is, the agents are stressed with this kind of environment, meaning it's a stressful job, right? Answering someone, facing someone who are not happy, who are looking for something. And unfortunately, what do they have? Agents in hand is they have a headset and some platform to give them the answer. They are not are they empowered to give the solution itself the customer is looking for? In some very rare cases, yes, but not too many of them, right? So what it can do is it can create a lot of stress, right? So the survey says 26%, mention the agents finding the right answer to the customer questions is creating a stress for them, 26%. And 25% saying the different systems and information sources giving. So dealing with the different systems to pull up the information and then answer the customer, that creates a stress for the some 25% of the agents. And 20% are saying moving from one application to other while they are having a customer on call. And 14% they have to work hard all the time to keep up with all the new changes, because any company, right, all of us offer new features, updates, or we keep on enhancing our product. So guess what, the agent have to keep up with that kind of changes and new features, right? They become very familiar, otherwise they're not going to be able to serve their customers. So, and then the 15% says the other issues. So these are the reasons what agent is facing and then saying they are very stressed. And so that could be a reason why they are looking for other job. Maybe this is, I'm too stressed here, maybe look for somewhere else. But then and then very shortly they're going to realize every other job they're going to go, they are going to find one way or other some kind of a challenges. So let's pick our panelists today to say what they're doing differently and how they handle the situation and everything. So maybe that would give us some idea for us and for our audience, to go from there, right? So without a further ado, so let me introduce our three panelists here. So first I'll go with Suraj. So Suraj, welcome back to our discussion again. Suraj currently function as a head of a customer experience, at the company called Kissht. So they are one of the pioneer in providing loans and a lot of different services for the small merchants. So they are in a good niche market, but that also comes with a lot of challenges. Dealing with the merchants, because they themselves are dealing with a lot of different challenges, and then they are servicing their merchants. So you can imagine a kind of challenges that they are facing and their company is going through. And Suraj has already have a different experience from HDFC and three other interesting startups and everything. So we welcome you back to the panel discussion. Suraj, thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Yeah, and second panelist is Sailesh Rupani. So Sailesh has more than 20 years of customer service experience, and so he's heading Kolkata region for Geo. And so he was just mentioning, so he is, to put it as one word, he is that person who would like to change the red dots into a green, meaning so putting the fire out and making it look good. So it is a two different tasks and very difficult task to do. So he has a lot of experience to share and give us the clue. And he has experience building processes from the scratch, delivering high impact digital programs. And he has mentioned now they are getting into a machine learning and AI based solutions as well. So some of the newer technologies they are looking into use. So that is going to be interesting too. So we welcome Sailesh to the discussion, and we look forward to hear from your experience, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
And the third panelist is Shakshi Mahajan. So she's a chief marketing and corporate communications head at ECPay. So she has demonstrated success by enhancing the value proposition for customers through the digitization of products, crafting solutions, and she's she just explained what are the challenges they face in the marketing, and how the agents are could be stressed in their situation, dealing with producing the leads and everything, and how they deal with that problem. And and she also has a good experience on the customer journey, and how how to make it better experience for the customers. And she she's also corporate a communications and a head of growth. So she's putting different hats there. And also earlier she has worked with low Lintas and Trade Links, Reliance Entertainment, S Bank, and Tesco, to mention few of the companies earlier. So we welcome you, Shakshi, to this panel, and looking forward to hear from you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's get discussion points. As I mentioned, we will, to keep it a little bit more interesting, so I will throw a few discussion points. You need not restrict yourself to the discussion points, but these are the questions we think could be there for most of our audiences, so that could help them to clarify this. So let's start with Suraj. So Suraj, this discussion is about how we are dealing with the voluntary and involuntary attrition, right? So the points are like this: the most common forms of attrition are involuntary attrition and voluntary attrition. You can't prevent attrition in any organization. However, it makes sense to look at voluntary attrition, especially at the early stages, right? Between 30 to 90 days. That's one thing. And this can give a lot of clue for who are audiences are here, what they can expect, how they can manage, and how they can engage with their workforce to help with this in the voluntary and involuntary attrition and what we do. So how do you go about understanding the reasons for attrition, and what do you do to act upon them, Suraj?
Okay, that's a nice question, Uttuman. So to start with, I would say presently we have a contact center base of 200, and also there is another 1,000 plus contact centers separately for the payments part. So we have two different contact centers. One is for customer service and another is for payment collection reminders, etc. So when it comes to customer service, it's plain customer service. I would say that it's not a target-oriented job wherein the performance purely depends on the quality of customer service given, on the number of queries resolved, and the customer satisfaction score achieved by the agent. So I would say when it comes to normal customer service, the attrition that we have seen always range between 1 to 2%, which has been very healthy. And I would say the one specific reason for having low attrition in this area has been two things. As you rightly said, the main pain point that agents face. Hello, am I audible to you? Or
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the main pain points that the agents face, as you said, as per the research report, that agents face a lot of problems when they have to jump from one screen to another screen for resolving a simple query of the customer. Also, they do not have instant access to a knowledge base. So, and third is they may have problems with work from office, which is a recent issue after the COVID pandemic. So, but it's a more important one. So I usually interact with agents, and I ensure that I interact more with the junior level staff rather than the senior level staff, because senior level meetings keep happening, but the junior level staff is something where you get to know the pulse of the customer. They keep daily speaking to customers. Then they daily in and out. They just speak to customers. So that is the fastest you can get to the pain point of the customer if you speak to these agents on a daily basis. And what I've seen is that agents are even they are ready to let go of increments. They are ready to let go promotions if they are allowed to work from home. Now, this was an eye opener for me, because there were agents, especially I had seen female agents, to be specific, they were preferring work from home so that they can manage home responsibilities, family responsibilities, etc. And at the same time, they wanted to continue with the job. So they love the organization, they love the process and everything, but they did not want to leave it just because of work from office, etc. So we have now allowed agents to work from home, and we have the necessary systems in place which can help us track the productivity. And I think during the pandemic, we had a very long time, at least of 1.5 to 2 years, wherein we were able to test all kind of systems. We were able to do all kind of mix and match on kind of reports that we need, etc. So now the system is fairly healthy and it's in place. So we are now able to exactly pinpoint which agent is productive, which agent is not productive, what is the login hours, everything, attendance, everything. It is automated. So I don't, the agents need to come to office. So we have allowed them. So around 85% of the contact center is work from home. Remaining 50% come to office. The reason being they have electricity issues or they have internet issues in their location. So they need to come to office. And some of them are low on performance. So we need to call them to office till they improve their performance. And third factor is some of them are new agents. So a new agent can shift to work from home after he completes at least 3 months in office, because when he's in office, he is able to interact with the seniors. He's able to resolve his doubts. So after 3 months, we allow him work from home. We give him the system and everything. So now when it comes to practices to ensure attrition is low, I would say, first of all, when the employee comes to the organization, he goes through a 9-day training and onboarding process. And in this 9-day process, we take the feedback of the employee after the end of the onboarding. At the end of the training session, we take a feedback that how was the training session? How was the trainer? Did you like the process? Product information shared, everything. And based on this feedback, we keep improving the process. Second, once the employee feedback is received, after 30 days of the customer hits the floor, of the agent hits the floor, sorry. So once the agent is live on the floor, after 30 days, we take another feedback. Now, this feedback is more related to the kind of work environment that the employee has, like with respect to his immediate reporting boss, with respect to the customer service manager, as well as with respect to the colleagues that the agent has. What kind of feedback is he giving with respect to the team? Is he comfortable with the team? Is he comfortable with the system? Is he comfortable with the HR policies with respect to leaves or attendance? And is he comfortable with the way the manager approaches his faults, or the way the quality team gives him feedback, etc.?
Okay.
So this helps us know the pain points that they are facing, and we accordingly do the changes that is possible at our end for these things. And then every 3 months after that, so every quarter we have this feedback going on, so that whenever there is some process change, because there are a lot of product updates, process updates that keep happening, even system updates keep happening, new systems are introduced, new softwares are introduced. So we keep this feedback loop every 3 months, which help us understand what kind of pain the agent is facing, what kind of problems he's facing, and what solutions we need to introduce. Secondly, for engagement of the employees, we have these engagement sessions like once in a month, wherein we take all the employees on a virtual call, and we have these online game sessions wherein prizes are distributed for online games, etc. They create their own teams, they play games, and some prizes are distributed according to that. That is second one. Third, I would say, is skill development. When it comes to skill development, there are two things that we focus on. One is if there is a caller, he's taking calls, and he has been taking calls for the last 6 months, we give him an opportunity to take email or chat instead of a call. So that will help him learn a new software first of all. And secondly, he will also he will be working with a new team under a new supervisor. And thirdly, he will understand how to cater to customers in different channels. So catering to customer on a call is completely different compared to catering to customer on Twitter. Agents need to understand this different channels, so that it is also beneficial for the company. Because tomorrow, if there is a scarcity of agents in, say, for example, we have a scarcity in the calling channel, then we can shift agents from another channel, because they are already trained. They know how to use the process and the system.
Absolutely.
Similarly, the second part of skill development is we have free courses, which our trainers are equipped to handle. And these free courses are on Excel training, advanced Excel and analytics, and PowerPoint presentations. So agents are trained on how to use Excel, how to use Microsoft PowerPoint. So this helps them get promoted to different positions, because there are better roles in the organization for which you may just need to know Excel, or you may just need to have a better presentation skills and communication skills, etc. Finally, I would say there is also internal job postings that we offer to them. So at the time of onboarding itself, we inform them that if you perform good, if you are good at your quality levels, and if you are also good at your attendance, and also the feedback that you give to the manager, if that is positive, then you also get an opportunity to get internally promoted. So the agent always knows that there is an opportunity inside the organization rather than going outside the organization. So I have seen there are agents who have just joined out of college. Some of them have even they are doing online courses on digital marketing. We don't know that. So if you ask them, they come up and they speak up to us. See that I'm doing an MBA, part-time MBA, or I'm doing a course in digital marketing or something. So we give them opportunities in product, in marketing, in operations, as well as in quality audit, based on the skill sets that they are able to show. So this helps them remain with the organization, and I think this is very helpful for us in the long run.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Suraj. So there are a lot of things here, right? So you engage with them thoroughly, get the feedback on a timely basis, and you give them different opportunity, like doing a different job, right? So so that gives them makes it interesting, not a monotonous, and it give them some kind of important feeling also. Okay, I'm learning something new, and I've been given a different responsibilities, and
I get a feeling that they need to get a feeling that a call center job or a contact center job is not a full stop to the career. That is
So
do here.
Yeah, so it's more like a feeling that they all are feeling inclusive, right? You give them chance to interact with other team members, playing games. So it's not just one act, effort that's going to make us achieve this. Like there has to be like a collective of action. So I think you have summarized it all of them together, and that looks very, very interesting. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Suraj. So next to move on to Sailesh. So the discussion points are the next discussion point is going to be about the recruitment process, Sailesh. So like, what is the typical time frame that, like, you take to recruit an agent, like, and what is the process, like, followed, and what has worked and what has not worked, and how do you engage them between the time you offer them and the time they join, right? That's one of the biggest, like, another challenge point here. And what's your onboarding process? Like, I'm like, we are just trying to figure out if others can use some of the good practices, or like, that we can learn from, like, how you do and hire and retain the talent.
So with regards to recruitment, uh, typically, because the attrition is so high and we need to always keep doing this backfill for, and the process has to run. So the process cannot stop because of lack of manpower. So obviously that the bench strength has to be there, adequately planned. So obviously we keep looking for referrals and, refer a friend. I think this is one of the biggest, ideas now which is floating. So which helps, because if my friend is working, okay, so, I can refer 3, 4 more friends of mine who can work. So, that really helps. Why it helps? Because, if I am working there and 3, 4 more friends are working there, that kind of, bondage, that kind of bonding, actually, it really helps. And actually, if you actually see, if you have the more people from the same community or the same college or same area, that kind of bondage, it actually, it helps to reduce your attrition.
Yeah.
Okay, to a large extent. And also in terms of building that bench strength, we, typically, I'm not talking about specific about my company, I'm talking in general. What I've seen, in past, is really helps is, like, when we recruit people, that, we have to first give that orientation of that company, for which they are going to work. Because see, typically, I've spoken to a few, advisors in past, okay, where that advisor told me very clearly, what, today I'm wearing hat of X, tomorrow I'll be wearing hat of Y, and then on Monday I'll be wearing hat of Z. So, that orientation doesn't come, and, sometimes I feel I am lost. I don't know which company I'm working for and stuff like that. So, somehow, those are the factors which, we need to keep in mind when we are, when we are, getting someone on board. Plus, I strongly believe, in terms of, engaging these people from the day one. Okay, so we have to give that, make them understand and give that importance to them, because we have to understand one thing. If you think that today, what any kind of transformation project, any company which takes, so we have this concept of design thinking, okay, which actually starts with the feedback of the customer. Then, it goes on to various ideation, prototype, testing, and then execution. Okay, so now he's the guy, who he or she is the guy who's actually voice of the customer pain point. Where is the customer is getting impacted? What is his pain point? He is the guy who's actually listening to him. He is capturing the VOC of the customer. So that importance, that thing has to be inbuilt, and that has to be told to him that, boss, you are the most critical link between the company and the customer. So,
Yeah.
those kind of orientations somehow, I think, are not present at the moment. And also in terms of keeping them engaged, throughout the process of their initial 10, 15, 20 days, whatever is that. And I have seen that, it's important that we need to, give more time for their training, orientation of the company, getting them used to the systems, to the processes, and, the kind of, vision that company has. Sometimes the agents are not even aware that what is the vision and the mission of that company, for which they are taking those calls. So probably there's a kind of a disconnect. So I think, those are the days where typically I have seen what companies, most of the companies do is, they come and we'll train you on my systems, on my processes. These are the standard queries. These are the standard answer. This is how you need to escalate and stuff like that. That is okay. That is very mundane, and that is very easy and can be taught in a day or 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days max. But those are the other things, that are vision and mission. So what I stand for, what is my objective of the company, what we need to achieve, how we perceive our customers, what value we give to the customers. Those are the stuff which we need to more focus on, and we need to dwell on and ingrain in our DNA of that agents. That really helps for us to retain, that then that the agent and advisor starts thinking that I'm part of that company. I am the one who's giving the management the voice which the customer is voicing. So I think those are the changes, those are the paradigm shifts, those are the thought process we need to dwell on, we need to think, deliberate. Probably our training will extend from 15 days to maybe a month or so, but it really helps in the long run getting more business, better CSAT score, better retention of the customer and the agent and advisor as well. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, excellent point actually. So so giving them the importance, making them feel important, like being inclusive once again, and so making them like empowered, feel empowered, and like take some decision. These are the key points. Yeah. So yeah, that's good. Thanks, Sailesh. And so now let's go to Sakshi for her input on this topic. So Sakshi, most of the call center agents are the face of the industry. However, they are at the bottom of the hierarchy and get paid the lowest. So it becomes difficult to keep them motivated and perform their roles with the same enthusiasm on a daily basis. And what do you do to make the process enjoyable for them? And do you incentivize them monetarily, or do you do them otherwise, right? So can you share some thoughts on this one?
Sure, thank you. That's a very interesting question. It's something we mull over all the time at EasyPay. So I think for us, the stance that we take is fairly clear. Every employee that is onboarded, whether on roll, off roll, typically contact center, a large part of it is your off roll team, but we try and imbibe the entire culture of they're an extended part of the family. I don't think we've ever tried to create any differentiation, chiming on in terms of what Sailesh said. I think it's all about creating ownership at the end of the day, right? You have to create that sense of pride in the agent, saying that you represent the family, the EasyPay family. So when it eventually comes, to negative publicity, anything to do with negativity associated with the brand, I think, I'd be fairly confident to say our agents have been a part of several classroom trainings. In fact, I think it's the first session that we start with to try and imbibe that entire culture of ownership, saying you represent the organization. So anything that you speak on behalf of the organization is ultimately, how is the light that the customer is going to view us in. So there has to be certain discipline, decorum, and obviously a part of ownership. There is a big component of creating that sense of belongingness that we've been doing at EasyPay. In terms of the second part of your question, I think there are lots of things that you have to do, right? It's not a one-stop solution, and unfortunately, one approach is never enough. So I think it's actually predominantly, I'd say 50-50 equality in terms of both, whether it's monetary or non-monetary. I think in terms of the entire atmosphere that we build, I think is predominantly on three key pillars. One is the entire approachability, transparency, and then just an open door policy. So we have it, at a CXO level to the junior most level, where we have an open floor. Everyone is approachable and there's extreme transparency. So I don't think, poor performers are looked at with bad light. It's about how do you actually get them to improve? How do you get the quality managers to assist them? And how do you create that camaraderie between the agents that they're actually supporting each other and become points of, they deflect and discuss how one was able to convert versus the other. So I think that those things have been working really well. Apart from that, I think from a overall organization standpoint, we've obviously needed to, build in a lot more. So we have a lounge which allows them to actually go and play games in between the day. And it actually is a stress buster because it's a very challenging job when you're dealing with negative complaints through the day. People, happy customers don't typically call. It's always, it's a challenge call that they're addressing. So it's an irate customer who you're trying to pacify. So we also try and understand the sentiment that, the agents experience through the day. We also have in terms of, so we have two different teams. In our outbound contact center, we have the acquisition and retention, both have different KPIs in place. And basis that, we obviously, incentivize the different teams. So if somebody performed excellently on a particular day, they get to order a free meal in, sponsored by the company. We have, on a monetary level, we have spot incentives and annual bonuses, which is, I think, pretty much standard across the industry. But I think in terms of building that pride within the employee itself, I think top performers in the organization, apart from a reward and recognition program, also get a meal sent over to their homes, because that is, again, a sense of pride that they experience. It's such young kids. Majority of the contact center team is very young agents. It does create that sense of pride. The minute, they feel like they've been felicitated on a family front as well. So I think it's a combination of things. And obviously, the team lead, the quality manager, the unit head, all step in from time to time, to make sure that the motivation levels are really high and keep building up more and more plans so that, we know that it doesn't dip at any cost and we don't see attrition.
Yeah. Great one. So yeah, some good tips there, right? So like letting them to order food and like sending some food to their home. Like, yeah, that's a very good one. So small things, but
I would like to, I'd like to add on just one point on Shaxi's thing that, that need of, getting appreciated, is very important point actually. And as we say, these are the guys who you always keep saying they are the lowest rung, the bottom, but you have to understand if the bottom needs to be very, strong. If the platform is not very strong, the building, can fall anytime. So that's the importance and the need of that appreciation. We don't need to incur, some cost on that, just a kind of appreciation. And I just want to, I'm sorry, I'm just hijacking your time for 1 minute, but I'll tell you one instance, in the past, where I've seen, the call center was, we just, one of the companies I was working, and a new call center was, floated, which was actually to convert customers, the existing customers to it's kind of a upgrade. And, they were not doing pretty well for first 6 months and all that. Then one of our top guys, he decided to go and have an open house with these guys. And, actually they had a lot of, this points and suggestions, and they actually told, how we can change our process. And you won't believe, all this, most of the points is our top guy, he took and he actually implemented that in 15 days. And the conversion rate from some 10 to 12%, it went straight to some 43%, in a matter of 1 or 2. And so that's how important they are. And, the voice, as I said, the VOC, these guys actually has the real VOC, which we need to work on. And it really, and appreciation, obviously, as Shakshi told, is really important for them.
Yeah, very good point, Sailesh. Actually, that's exactly what, one of the important thing that many organizations are not able to visualize is they have a wealth of information, and just sitting inside their company, that is the agents, right? Because they are the one dealing with the customers and the first-hand experience. So they have the most knowledge, and so they would be able to give you, instead of they being told or audited and everything, they should be given a free hand, suggesting, okay, hey, what works, like, what doesn't work, and like, so how can we improve. So probably like a feedback session, like, yeah, so that would be the key. Yeah. So next, like, we'll move to the next discussion point, like, for Sailesh and Shakshi. So I have tried, like, now I have heard war stories on how an empowered agent is an asset to a call center, right? So how do you empower your agents to make decisions? How do you marry the responsibility levels with the authority for your agents, right? Is there any thumb rule that you follow? Just one example I'll give here is, one of our panelists here, like, so mentioned, shared a story that is, like, very touching. So I keep repeating this story, like, many times. So the story is like this. So he usually travel a lot and stay, like, different hotels, and go attend different conferences and everything. So one of the conferences, like, so he was going back to, like, his one of the favorite hotel, like, not a favorite hotel, like, like a favorite conferences, and then he had to, like, book a hotel. So he booked online, and then he was going to check in. So upon the check-in, he found, like, there was, like, he wasn't feeling comfortable staying in that room, like, something, like, told him it's not clean, or it's something not right. So he called the company and then said, like, can you like, cancel my reservation? This is no good, or like, I want to change. So first the agent, like, didn't understand. They were pushing back, saying, like, you booked non-cancelable room and things like that. And then they ended up saying, like, transferring to agent, that agent able to understand exactly what the problem says, like, so please hold on, let me look what other rooms are available. So he looked while this gentleman was on call, and found another hotel within the same street. So he said, why don't you walk to that hotel and check in? I'll be on call with you till you check in. So he was literally online while he walking to the other hotel and checks out the room. And then he says, okay, I'm happy, I will stay here. And like, so then only the agent, like, hung up the phone. Like, he said that that's a touching story, like, and like, I would never, like, go anywhere else to book a hotel, right? I'll use that site. So the fact is, he has the agent side, right? Agent has seen a full story of what this customer is all about. He has stayed with them, like, almost like 435 nights or something so far. So he is really a frequent traveler. So when somebody sees that kind of a data, and like, they have to act upon it, right? I mean, do they have enough freedom to act upon it, or like, or they have to get approval from somebody to do that, like, so what do you suggest, and what do you think works for you? So Sailesh and Sakshi.
Yeah, so it's all about empowerment and DOA for the agents. And as you told that 435 nights is already stayed, and probably, so I would also say, I a different view I have. Like, maybe I'm a customer, the first time customer, and probably that agent or advisor gave me that extra night, or that he accommodated my request. Probably now I have become a customer of 435 nights.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it depends, how on the situation. And I strongly believe, and I strongly advocate that, since these people are ambassadors, okay, for our company. And see, it doesn't make a difference for a customer. For him, the agent is the face and everyone about the company. And this is how the agent interacts with that customer, and how he deals with that issues which this customer is having, or the pain points which the customer is having. How that's how my brand and my image gets built across. Okay.
Yeah.
So my typical understanding is that if a customer is hurt, he will go and tell 100 other people that this guys did not do this well. But if the customer is happy, he'll only tell maybe 10, 15, 20. But
Yeah.
I think that's important, that we make this customer happy, and we give ample amount of empowerment, keeping in mind some process checks, some kind of backend processes, to ensure that it is not misutilized, or if something happens, then we have that process in place, so that nothing goes wrong. But even if it goes wrong once or twice, or 4-5 times in a year, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I think empowerment is the biggest thing. And one of the best, I walked into a store and I wanted a number. Okay, and I desperately wanted that number, and because it was switching, I had one number and the same kind of a number I was getting, for some other operator. So I requested, and they said, no, this is a very a preferred number, and this number, and you have to pay 10,000 rupees and all that. I told them, I am a very old time customer, and I am the first time I am approaching your this operator. So if you can kindly, and you can see my bills, and I've been user for past 20 years, and I've been using, and I've been regularly paying my bills. And this guy actually, I don't know what happened. Initially he said no, but then he actually took a call and gave me that number free of cost. So, then I had that, that impression, yes, this is the company. This is actually a great customer experience. This company actually advocates and give this freedom to their advisor at the front enders, though it was not a call center example, but it is somewhere etched in my memory. This is an 18-year-old, a story, but still, I still remember that person, and I'm still in touch with that person. So this is how that image and that that is created for that company. So I think I believe empowerment is very important. Keeping in mind a few checks, I think, but it should not be restricted and in a guided way that only if this set of things are met, then only we can do this. So I think that freedom has to be given to them to take a call on the spot. Maybe he's calling at 2 o'clock in the night, and he really wants some urgent help and wants some help. So that time, no one can be, maybe no one is available to take a call to give that DOA. So I think empowerment is important, and it really goes a long way in building the customer's image as a customer friendly or a customer centric.
Yeah, thanks, Sailesh. Sakshi?
Just to add, I agree. I don't think, empowerment is imperative, right? There is no other way to put it across, because I think on a couple of fronts, I think even at, EasyPay as an organization, we follow the fact that there has to be ready stack of responses ready. We have 6-month quality analysis done, and, across that we build a Q&A set, which is readily available to the customers. But at the end of the day, that is just answering the questions that are addressed. How do you actually go the leg beyond to be able to build loyalty and to be able to create that wow factor? The experiences, they've gone the extra mile to make sure that I will now not move to competition irrespective of what comes across. So I think, rightly, like Sailesh said, I think the end mile is the face of the organization. When you call it the bottommost pillar, I would actually address it as the topmost pillar, because today, without having your entire contact team in place who is actually addressing the customer's complaints, queries, or being able to respond. So we face multiple issues that, will come up on a daily basis. Whether it's a device replacement, commission has not been transferred to the account. These things are now become run of the mill, right? It's almost like saying it's BAU, that the customer will call for these sort of feedbacks. And I think at an agent level, obviously keeping in mind the fact that, whether it's a new joinee versus somebody who's fairly more established in the system, there are empowerment, given basis the type of agent you are, what are the criteria sets that you typically need to cater to be able to make decisions that are fairly on the go, rather than having to constantly put the customer on hold, reach out to the TL. It creates a very diluted customer experience at large. Again, FTR is something, first time right, is something that we chase internally. So for us to be able to give to have a high FTR score, it is again very imperative to have the resolutions provided fairly quickly. So I do agree. I think, empowerment is absolutely essential. And I think, every organization needs to incorporate it within their stride. There are obviously reservations while, to do these and, make these decisions, because it's a direct P&L implication, when you're empowering agents to be able to make financial decisions on behalf. And, that they're probably not as equipped. But I think one of the tools that really helps us help the agents, make these decisions is a one view dashboard. So they actually have the journey of the customer end to end. So it makes you can make a very data-led decision as well, to be able to substantiate, okay, this is the 10th transaction, and he probably actually hasn't received his commission, which is why he's calling, because we haven't received a call in 6 months, for example.
Okay.
So I think those are decisions, those tools also help aiding in empowering the customer, because you actually have the entire funnel from the lead generation to servicing. So you can make, I think, a more constructive call while being empowered and having the ability to make a financial decision as well.
Thanks, actually. Good points. So we are almost coming to the end of the discussion, the last point. So we'll make it a little bit quicker, and then we'll take a few questions. I know Sailesh have to leave early, so yeah. So the last question, Sailesh and Suraj, right? So the discussion point is like this. So one of the biggest reasons for attrition is stress level that we discussed earlier also. This is could be due to the complex process followed in a call center, technology tools have come into market that helps you simplify some of this challenges, right? So, and some of the a few examples are workforce management, workforce optimization, and intelligent call routing or self-service capabilities, or single view customers, like what Sakshi was just mentioning, one view dashboard, or the list management services, analytics, whatever the different technologies, what we can talk about. So how do you use them in your organization? Can you give a couple of use cases, using this technologies to help us address these challenges?
Yeah, Sailesh, would you like to go first?
You go ahead, Suraj, please.
Okay. So, Uthaman, I would say there are different strategies that we do to ensure that the stress level of a agent is kept in check. Because if an agent, because what you put in from one side will come out from the other side. So if the agent is stressed, he's going to give stress to the customer in turn. So it's necessary that the agents are relieved of stress and are able to comfortably do the job. And that's only when they will be able to pass on the same comfort to the customer. So one of the most important things I feel is API integration. So most of the contact centers have different systems for different channels. Like, for example, there would be a system for chat, as well as there would be a system for email. There would be a separate system for calling, and these systems need to speak to each other. And just like Sakshi said, they have a single view for all the customers. Similarly, we have the same thing at Kissht, wherein we use, I would say, the channel is Freshdesk. We use Freshdesk as a CRM, and we have integrated Freshdesk across different softwares that we use. So Haptic is for chat, Kalera is for calls. So we have done the necessary API integration, from which whenever a customer, no matter from which channel he comes, any executive across the organization can see how many times the customer has approached, what was the query he raised, which channel he approached, what time he approached, and what was the solution given. He can immediately see it on a single click. Second, I would say, whenever I have seen across contact centers, there is a lot of use of Excel that happens. So whenever there is a new update coming, or whenever there is a new thing that has to be tracked, agents are just told by their team leaders that just open an Excel and start maintaining a record of these things. So we have made a policy, no Excel policy in our contact center, wherein Excel cannot be used by any agent unless he is making some personal notes. So any kind of tracking that you want to do, any kind of issue tracking or counts that you want to maintain, it, and Excel cannot be a solution, because I don't want an agent to use the CRM and again take the stress of opening an Excel, putting his counts or something, just because some manager wants to get an MIS. No, it cannot be done. So if you need a separate tracking or of any kind of tracking that you want to do, get a system in place for that, automate this. And we cannot ask this agent who is at the junior level to take extra stress of maintaining the data using an Excel. So we need to understand that manual tasks done by agent on an Excel sheet, on a Word file has to be eliminated. The more you eliminate manual small tasks, the more stress you reduce for the agent. Because these small tasks, they may seem very minor in nature, that he's just making an entry. It just takes. So when you speak to team leaders, they would say, "Sir, isko to sirf 1 second लगता है, उसको सिर्फ copy करना है, रख देना वहाँ पे, 1 second का काम है, इतना मुश्किल नहीं." But these things add up to the stress. So when he's doing a 9-hour shift, these small things add up to the stress. So you need to eliminate these small manual tasks so that he is stress-free and he concentrates on satisfying the customer and not on doing this petty things like maintaining a record, etc. System has to do it. Second, I would say work from home is something that's very much important given the present scenario. So agents, I have seen agents being much stress-free when they're doing work from home as compared to work from office, because a lot of they save a lot of money. So for us, it would be a very small amount, like they're saving 1,000 or 2,000 on traveling and food, but it means a lot to them. And since they are able to save money, they're able to save time as well as traveling, especially in a city like Mumbai, traveling is very hard and hectic. And since you have to take local trains, buses, etc. So when you are in a metro city, it's necessary we give them some relaxation in terms of work from home. Second, we have an online knowledge base. So whenever an agent has a doubt, for example, there is a customer who has come for a refund. And the agent does not know how to respond. He's a new agent. So there is an online knowledge base where we have given sections which are known as queries and subqueries. So you can just select the query called refund. Inside refund, there would be 10 different subqueries. Like, for example, the refund for late fees or the refund for some payment, double EMI payment. He can just click on the type of query he has, and he will see the ready-made response for that. So we have created ready-made responses. These are known as templates, which any caller or any agent can access instantly, and he doesn't need to ask anyone कि मुझे इसको reply क्या देना. He can just see that and he can get his reply instantly. Second, inside these replies, we also have L1, L2, L3 replies. So we also tell them that if there is a refund query, this is the reply. This is what you need to do. Now, if the customer is not satisfied, this is the second step that you need to do. That is, you need to give him a discount or something, or you need to escalate to this concerned team. Again, if it's not satisfied, this is the third step that you need to do. So 80% of the customer agent's queries are addressed over there. Still, if he has a query, there is a second option that we have given him, wherein we have a 9 hours Gmeet live session, wherein we have a quality person as well as a floor assist. Since 80% of the team works from home, we ensure that the floor assist or the product expert is available 9 hours on the Gmeet call daily. So his only job is to be available online. He just remains on mute and is available on Gmeet. Anyone can just pitch in into the Gmeet call. They can ask their doubts and they can leave. So this helps them avoid the hassle of picking up their phone and calling the supervisor to know a doubt, or sending a email or sending a text message on WhatsApp. So this is how life becomes easy for them. Finally, when it comes to regular updates, we have seen that a lot of agents may struggle with understanding English updates. Like, for example, there is a new change in interest rate, or there is a change in late fees. So instead of communicating everything on a formal English email, we have converted this into WhatsApp updates, wherein we send image and snippets on WhatsApp, which has a visual which shows the new update. Along with the visual, we present this in English, Hindi, and also some other regional languages, so that they are able to understand it easily and they can ask queries accordingly.
Okay.
These are the steps that we take to ensure that the stress levels are kept in check.
Okay, simple and like a lot of intuitive way of solving and helping. Okay, yeah, thanks. Suraj, yeah, Sailesh.
Yeah, I fully agree with Suraj. Work from home has been a big stress reliever for all our folks.
Yeah.
The call center fraternity actually has welcomed COVID. Now, at least we are working from home. We don't have to travel to us, especially in Bombay or a Bangalore kind of a scenario, where the travel time is very, very high. And also, but I had just one point to add to what Suraj said is, it's about two more things is about help at hand. So, a lot of these guys, they actually get caught up in some typical customer issues, for which they don't have any solution at the moment, and the customer needs it right now. So whether that that help at hand or no, so if I know that okay, I'm an agent, I'm an advisor, and if I get stuck, I know within a split second, I know I have to whom I have to approach, and I'll get that support. So actually that kind of confidence, that kind of that's okay, I'm there, and I people are there behind my back to support me if I get stuck. That actually provides a quite a bit of a relief for those guys, and actually it reduces the stress levels to a large extent. So we have to ensure that wherever our agents or advisor anywhere, it's not only about anywhere they get stuck, they should be second thing is that there are in this era, every call center, every company, they keep changing a lot of stuff, and a lot of things are getting introduced day in day out on an hourly basis in a lot of industries. So how do we update our guys, and before anything is known to them, the customer starts calling and asking about that feature, and the agent, since he gets stressed. Oh God, I don't know what it is about. So how fast are we, and our the ease, how easily we are communicating those to those guys. It's not the process should be very simple and very easy for them. It's about understanding their pain. It is not only about our system, our processes, and all that. We should always look at what is comfortable for them. It may be a very ancient kind of a you know stuff, but ancient way of doing things, or prehistoric way of doing things, but probably my folks are comfortable with that. So I have to do things which makes them comfortable, makes them feel at home. So if I can do that automatically, and it's rightly said by Suraj, like if the stress is the guys or is too much stress, the stress actually gets passed on to my customer, which I definitely don't want. Okay, definitely don't want. So it's very important that I keep my folks stress free, relaxed, as much as possible, so that I'm able to service my customer the way I want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because stress can be like a main challenging point for anyone, right, to deal with. Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Sailesh and Suraj. So we come to like the end of the discussion points. Like so I know Sailesh have to leave. So let me see if audiences have any questions, and then we'll go to the closing remarks quickly. So audiences, you have any questions? Please keep it ready. Yeah, and then Sailesh have to leave, and we'll get you your answers before he leaves. Where while you're getting it ready, I'll do my closing remarks also now. So I would like to thank all three panelists for joining us, taking time from your busy schedule and come and joining us. So Sailesh, Suraj, and Shakshi. So thanks so much for being here and helping us with understanding this difficult discussion points, and helping us share your stories and your your tricks and ways that works for you and in your industry. So that's been really good, and I hope some of these points are helpful for our audiences, and so they can put it to a good use. So let's see if there are any questions from the audiences, and then we can close the session. So audiences, any questions there?
I have a question, just to all
Sure.
the panelists. First of all, it was, this is a great session, with a lot of insight. So my question is, this most of, most often the call center tend to police, the activities of an agent, just with metrics like your, your AHT, that is your average handle time, then your first call resolution, etc. So often these can be killers, So, so do you think, just not to police them and still, get them punch above their, you can say weights or the performance?
Okay. Yeah. Sailesh,
Okay.
you want? Yeah.
Sailesh, please.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Abdul, I would say AHT is something when it comes to contact center, it's very crucial because it also it's attached to something that's very dear to the management, that is cost. And being business owners, we need to have a close eye on the cost because contact center are cost centers at the end of the day. So the more AHT, the more the AHT, the more the cost will increase. So ultimately, the cost of servicing one customer would increase with increase in AHT. So it's necessary that we keep a tab on it. But yes, I would say it's very much necessary, very crucial to track this metrics from day one. But we do have relaxations for our agents, wherein for the first month, AHT is not a metric for them. For the first month, the only thing important is the quality of the resolution that they are giving and the learning that they're able to get. After the first month, AHT becomes crucial. And after 3 months, AHT is very serious for us. So after 3 months, if someone is faltering on AHT repeatedly, then it can go as a warning. But up to 3 months, we are lenient. And I believe if an agent is serious enough towards the job, then after 3 months, AHT is not something that's difficult to achieve. He should be able to achieve it, provided he is given the right training.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Can increasing self-service capabilities would be a kind of offset that high-level attritions?
Okay.
That means that if I'm increasing the self-level capabilities, maybe the attrition level can reduce or something. I can work on that.
Yeah.
No, but so ma'am, about self-service is what I understand is to increase your customer experience, to give him self-help tools so that he need not call center and probably do it yourself kind of a stuff. So I need not call center and I have a technical queries. I can go to my chatbot or I can have an app and where I can. So probably then in that scenario, the call center would be specialized for difficult kind of a stuff which your normal app or your chatbot cannot resolve. So I think it really helps because then I know that because people it really helps in terms of attrition. It can really help. How it can help, I will explain you. Like this mundane kind of a stuff where the customers keep asking very standard kind of a stuff, standard type of a question. These agents, they get really irritated at times, and the same kind of a question, same. But when these typical queries are answered by your self-help tools or your app, it really and every time a agent will encounter a different kind of a scenario or different kind of a question, a issue, then I think it makes life interesting for that agent. Okay, he's always hooked on ki, yes, today I will get something new. Now this next customer will come with something a different kind of I think it will help. So focusing more on self-help really helps. This it will really help you reduce the the rate. Yeah, I strongly believe that. If Suraj, Takshi, if you have any views on that.
I agree, and I also think it, to add to what you said, Sailesh, I think it also helps empower the agent. So in terms of the expectation, and you spoke about how Suraj, about how someone's available on Gmeet. It also helps create the right narrative for the customer at the end of the day, because you need to have the resolution, and AHT and FTRs, unfortunately, are things that you have to measure, right? It's direct ownership from a business standpoint, and you can't get the eye of that, eye of it. But providing these sort of functionalities to agents certainly helps bring down attrition, because they're now more capable and now more empowered in many ways. So even from an ownership standpoint, so it helps across the spectrum of issues, I think, to be able to help reduce attrition.
Yeah.
Agree to it. And also, just to add to what Sakshi and Sailesh said, we have with chatbots and email bots and voice bots, there are technologies available right now which help self-service for agents as well, especially in the chat and email category, wherein there are platforms which enable agents that when they are replying, for example, a customer has sent a query on chat or email, the system itself gives suggestions on what can be the reply that can be given. So these kind of bots, bots designed for the agents, not for the customers. Customers already have these bots, but there are bots designed for agents which can help them that out of the different replies that are already fed to the system, this is the recommended reply. So it saves time and thinking for the agent, and it brings down the stress level for the agent as well. So self-help tools for the customer are really necessary to bring down the queries that come to the contact center, and self-help tools for the agent help the agents perform better and perform faster.
Yeah, very good point, Suraj. Yeah. So on both sides, right? Yeah, makes sense. Okay, any more questions from audience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How important is team building activities when it comes to motivating agents? Does it really reduce the attrition?
Team building activity. Okay.
Certainly. So if I may just jump in. So I think team building as an activity between the contact center agents helps bring that entire camaraderie. So I did mention earlier that, having that entire bonding atmosphere where they can help each other. So while, you try and create a competitive workplace by having team leads and different incentive structures, at the end of the day, it also comes down to supporting each other. If you're going to live in a very competitive environment, it's also going to prove a lot of toxicity. You need to have a balance between both. And I think the ability, for an organization to understand what's the right balance is actually very critical, because, the team building activity brings togetherness, while at the same place, you're still trying to have the highest incentive slab, be the top performer. So it actually goes hand in hand. These things are, you can't do one versus the other in isolation. Suraj, Sailesh, please chime in if there's anything.
Agree to what Sakshi said. Team building activities are very much crucial because they help break the ice between the team, as well as they help different teams come together, and they also help people know each other, especially when today's work from home environment, people do not know each other very well. For example, before COVID, the entire contact center knew each other, that who is the TL, which team who belongs to. But now with work from home, most of the people don't know who is the new agent that has joined today, or which agent a particular team belongs to. So these activities help them know each other better, and also they help them gel with each other well. Being said that, Sakshi raised a good point with respect to toxicity. I would say team building activities are one-time activities. They help give a sense of pleasure, which is a short-term pleasure. But when it comes to the long-term, people are more the attrition can is maintained, and it's and that's why I just mentioned about the feedback that we keep taking every 3 months. These feedbacks from employees, it's just done using a normal Google form, and these feedbacks from employees help us know if there is any kind of toxic behaviors or a culture that is creeping into the organization. It can be toxic behavior from an agent, it can be from a manager, or it can be from a coworker, or it can be from the HR, or from the team leader, or from the direct reporting boss. So any kind of, and it's necessary that these feedbacks are kept anonymous. Anonymity is very much essential. Unless you keep it anonymous, people are not going to speak to you. So in order to know if there is any sign of toxicity in the culture, it's necessary you keep speaking to agent and keep their feedback anonymous. It helps you. You need not take immediate action, but it will help you know how the team is functioning, where what thing is going wrong, and where you need to keep your eyes on. And if the culture is healthy, then definitely no employee would like to leave the organization.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point, Suraj. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone?
It's on my side. Question is for all the panelists. I want to know whether they are using any new technology or any AI kind of tool to make their recruitment process easy.
Easy. Okay. So yeah, using AI for a recruitment process.
No, presently we are not using AI for recruitment. We do use it for customer services and customer experience. We use a lot of AI. through voice, chat, as well as email, voice bots, etc. But for recruitment, we do not have. I think AI would be useful when you have good volumes of recruitment. Like if you're, for example, you're hiring in a large scale across different departments, then AI would be useful. But for small scale, as of now, we are able to manage it manually, so we haven't introduced AI for recruitment. But I see a lot of technologies in the market for recruitment and hiring with AI capabilities. But presently, there is no pressing need for us to explore that.
Okay.
Likewise.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Abhijit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So my question is specific to Suraj. Suraj, you were mentioning about agents being part of customer service across channels. So actually, I am interested to know how does it work? Because in general, I have heard that each channels require special skills. So if you can elaborate, how it works.
Can you repeat agent being part of?
Yeah. So you were talking about agents being part of customer service across channels.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. So what we do is at the time of the onboarding of the agent, we decide based on the skills of the agent whether the agent is more suitable for calling, email, or chat. Now, when it comes to email, chat, and social media, English proficiency is very important, as well as writing skills are very important. He should be able to respond to customer over a chat or a Twitter or Facebook. So English proficiency is very crucial when it comes to other channels except call. In call, you need English, but it's not very crucial. If you are average in your English communication, that can be taken. So what we do is once a caller is onboarded, he has worked for 3 to 4 months. After working for 3 to 4 months, he is able to gain the required kind of knowledge as well as proficiency over language as well as the process. So what we do is we enable them to sit with other departments. Like for example, we enable them to switch jobs, wherein the team leader can decide that how many agents he wants to switch from email to chat, or from chat to social media, or from calling to email. And we do it at a smaller scale. It's not that entire 50% of the team is switched. We do it for at least 10% of the team. So the 10% of switching happens every 4 months, 4 to 5 months. It happens, and it happens along with on the job training. So it's not that if I'm switching someone to call to an email, he won't Monday he's taking call and Tuesday he won't start going live on email. He will need at least a 5 to 6 days period where he is kept on buddy up, and he is sitting with an email agent. He is observing him. He's checking how he does the responses, how he's using the system, because the system that is used by a chat agent, for example, in our case, it's Haptic. So Haptic is the tool that we use for chats. And when it comes to call, it's Kalera. So the panel, that the front end that they see is completely different in chat. Similarly, when it comes to social media, it's quick metrics. So it's again completely different. We have a common CRM for this, but still there is a separate element of additional channel built over there. So it's necessary that they learn the channel first and they understand, they get their hands practice to it. So after a 5 to 6 days buddy up, they are made live. And this switching happens from office. It cannot be done from home. So that's why I said 80% of the team works from home and 20% is in office. So these 20% of the teams are those people who have switched from one team to other team. So they need some handholding and they are kept in office. And remaining are new joinees. And if their performance or quality is low, they come to office. So we do this switching every 4 to 5 months. And this switching is purely done on the interest shown by the agent. So we first ask the agents how many are interested to switch to chat so that they can learn the chat process. Because if the agent is interested, then the transition is much faster. Secondly, if the agent is interested, he would be able to perform better. We don't want to force anyone ki kal se tumko chat pe jana, it's compulsory. No. Of course, there is a requirement, then we would do it. But when it comes to learning, we ask for the preferences, which channel would like to learn about, so that they can go there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So I think we already passed our time by another 15 minutes. So so I'd like to thank one more time Suraj and Shakshi. Sailesh have to leave because he has another engagement right after this. So So we had a very good discussion, and discussed most difficult pain area, that is dealing with the attrition and how to handle it and the stress and everything. So thanks so much for sharing your knowledge and experience, Suraj and Shakshi, one more time. And so we're looking forward to having you on board, doing some other session in the future. And good luck with what you're doing. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Uttama. And I think this was a very healthy discussion. And I think this was the first time I heard so many questions. Otherwise, usually after sessions, there are one or two questions, but the audience was very much involved this time. So that was good to see.
Good.
That was a nice experience. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks,
so much,
Shakshi.
Uttaman. It was lovely speaking to you, and obviously it's so great to always have an interactive audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So thanks. Love to have both of you on board sometime in the future as well. Thanks so much, and thanks so much, audience. So we'll see you in another episode in another month time. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice.